What if I told you there's one secret hack that works on every single plant you can think of, no matter how hard it is to propagate? I've tested this method on roses, pothos, rubber plants, even succulents, and it never fails. Imagine turning a single cutting into a thriving plant every time. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it. Before we dive in, take a second to subscribe and turn on the bell icon. I share simple, science-backed plant tricks that anyone can use at home. If you want to grow more plants without spending more money, you'll love what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get growing together. Let's be honest for a second. You've probably tried to propagate a plant, cut the stem perfectly, placed it in water, waited weeks, and nothing happened. Or worse, it started turning brown and mushy before any roots showed up. I know the frustration. It feels like you did everything right but still failed. I used to throw away cuttings, thinking propagation was pure luck. But then I found something different, something that actually made sense. Once I started using this simple method, every single cutting began rooting faster and stronger than ever before. And the best part? You don't need expensive tools or fancy growth hormones. You just need to understand one small secret most people overlook. Propagation starts long before you see roots. Choosing and preparing your cutting is about 80% of the entire process. A good cutting doesn't just happen, it's selected. Start by picking a strong, healthy mother plant. You want one that's vibrant, free from pests, and actively growing. Avoid anything wilted or yellowing. The plant you choose determines how fast and how well your new one will root. Now focus on the stem. The perfect cutting has at least 2 or 3 nodes. That's where roots will form. Cut just below a node at a slight angle. The angle helps the plant absorb more water and prevents it from sitting flat on the surface. Aim for about 4 to 6 inches for most houseplants. Morning is the best time to take your cuttings. The plant is fully hydrated and the internal moisture helps it recover faster. Avoid taking cuttings during the hottest part of the day because the heat causes water loss and slows rooting. After cutting, remove the lower leaves, leaving only 1 or 2 at the top. This reduces stress and keeps the cutting from losing too much moisture. Always use clean, sharp scissors or pruning shears. Dirty blades can introduce bacteria that kill your cutting before it even starts. Here's a small bonus. Use natural boosters. You don't need commercial rooting powder. Dip the end of the stem in a bit of cinnamon. It acts as a natural antifungal. Or coat it lightly with aloe vera gel. Aloe not only prevents infection, but also contains natural rooting hormones that encourage faster growth. Before you move to the next step, take a moment to think. What plant are you trying to propagate right now? Drop it in the comments and let's compare results together. Plants are just like us. They thrive when their environment feels stable and comfortable. The secret to successful propagation isn't only the cutting itself, but how you care for it afterward. It's all about creating balance. Enough moisture to encourage roots, enough air to prevent rot, and the right light to keep new growth healthy. Let's start with temperature. Most plants root best between 21 and 26 degrees Celsius. That's warm enough to activate growth hormones, but not so hot that the cutting dries out. If your home is cooler, place your setup near a bright window, or use a gentle heat mat. But never direct heat, because it can scorch the stem before roots even form. Now, lighting. New cuttings can't handle direct sunlight. They need bright but indirect light, like what you'd find near a filtered window or under a shaded balcony. Think of it as giving your cutting a soft sunrise glow instead of harsh noon rays. Too little light, and it won't root. Too much, and it'll lose moisture faster than it can replace it. Humidity is the next big piece. This is where humidity domes, jars, or even simple Ziploc bags come in. By trapping moisture around your cutting, you create a tiny greenhouse, a safe, consistent microclimate that encourages root growth. Inside that dome, the humidity should stay around 70 to 80%. That keeps the leaves hydrated while allowing the stem to focus energy on growing roots.
But here's the part most people miss: air circulation. Even though the cutting loves moisture, stagnant air breeds mold and fungus. To prevent that, open your dome or container once a day for a few minutes. It refreshes the air and stops bacteria from building up. You can also wipe the inside of the container occasionally to prevent excess condensation. If your cuttings often rot before rooting, this next part is for you, because what comes next completely solves that problem and takes your success rate to a whole new level. All right, Here it is, the moment you've been waiting for, the secret I've been hinting at since the start, the one simple thing that almost guarantees your cutting will root no matter the species. It all comes down to controlled microhumidity and natural hormone activation. These two conditions, when combined, mimic exactly what happens in nature when plants grow new roots, only we're creating that environment indoors on purpose. Here's how you do it. Take the cutting you've already prepared and dip the base into fresh aloe vera gel. Not only does aloe protect it from bacteria, but it also contains natural growth hormones like auxins and gibberellins, the same chemicals that trigger root development in the wild. Coat the base evenly, almost like sealing a wound with natural medicine. Next, take a clean paper towel and lightly dampen it. You don't want it soaked, just moist enough that it holds water when squeezed. Gently wrap your aloe-coated cutting in this damp paper towel, covering the nodes but keeping the leaves free. This step locks in the perfect level of humidity that roots love, consistent, not soggy. Now, place the wrapped cutting inside a transparent Ziploc bag. Seal it almost all the way, but leave a small gap at one corner to allow minimal airflow. What you've just made is a mini greenhouse, a self-contained rooting chamber where warmth, moisture, and hormones work together. Put the bag near a window with bright indirect light. Avoid direct sunlight, which can overheat the bag and cook the cutting from the inside out. Keep it near a bright window instead, where it gets soft, indirect light, the kind of light that mimics early morning or late afternoon in nature. That's when plants root best. And here's the exciting part. In just 5 to 7 days, you'll start seeing small white bumps forming along the node. Those are root initials, early signs of new life. Even stubborn plants that refuse to root in water or soil respond to this method. Once you see those first roots, it's hard not to smile. You'll realize propagation isn't about luck, it's about control. The right balance of humidity, warmth, and natural hormones. This is the foundation of the hack, and it's why it works nearly every time. The first week decides everything. This is when your cutting is most fragile. It's alive but vulnerable, and how you care for it now will determine whether it thrives or withers. Start by checking moisture daily. Open the bag gently and feel the paper towel. It should still be slightly damp, never soaked. If it's starting to dry out, add just a few drops of clean water, not more. Too much water suffocates the stem and invites rot. Too little, and the cutting will dehydrate before roots even appear. That delicate balance is what keeps the rooting process alive. Now, here's what to look for. Around day 5 or 6, you might notice tiny fog droplets inside the bag. That's a good sign. It means the humidity is holding. Then look closely at the base of the stem. You'll start to see small white bumps forming along the node. Those are root initials, early signs of new life. Air circulation is another small but important detail. Every day or two, open the bag for about 5 minutes to let fresh air in. This prevents mold from building up and helps your cutting adjust to normal humidity gradually. Think of it like giving the plant short breathing breaks before it's strong enough to live outside its bubble.
Patience is key here. Don't rush to transplant the cutting yet. The roots are still soft and developing. In a few minutes, I'll show you exactly when to move it into soil safely, but for now, focus on consistency. Check daily, keep the light gentle, and watch those tiny bumps grow into real roots. Here's a quick challenge for you. Can you guess how many days it takes before you'll see fully visible roots using this method? Type your guess below, and I'll reveal it soon. Now that roots have finally formed, you've reached the most critical step, transplanting without shock. This is where many people lose their progress because they rush the process. Remember, your cutting has lived in a protected environment until now. The goal is to help it adjust gently to the real world. Start by choosing the right soil mix. You need a light, airy blend that drains well but still holds enough moisture to keep those young roots hydrated. A simple mix of potting soil, perlite, and a bit of cocoa peat or sphagnum moss works beautifully. The perlite keeps the soil loose
giving roots the oxygen they need to grow strong. Think of it as building a soft landing for your new plant. Next, acclimatize gradually. Don't take the cutting straight from its humid bag and bury it in soil. That sudden change in moisture and airflow can cause shock. Instead, open the bag a little wider each day for 2 or 3 days before transplanting. This helps the cutting adapt to regular humidity levels. When you're ready, gently unwrap it and handle the roots with care. They'll be delicate and easy to break, so take your time. Make a small hole in the prepared soil just deep enough for the new roots to sit comfortably. Place the cutting inside, cover it lightly, and press the soil around it with your fingertips, firm enough to hold but not so tight that air can't flow. Now, let's talk about water. The first 24 hours after transplanting are crucial. Give it a gentle drink, just enough to moisten the soil evenly. Then, leave it alone. Too much water at this stage can drown the roots before they settle. After the first day, check the soil with your finger. If the top inch feels dry, water lightly again. And don't forget about drainage. Always use a pot with holes at the bottom. Without them, excess water collects and suffocates the roots, leading to rot. Good drainage keeps oxygen flowing and allows your plant to breathe. Over the next few days, keep the light bright but indirect and avoid moving the plant around too much. It's adjusting to its new home, and stability is what helps it thrive. Here's a little bonus tip. Mix a handful of perlite into your soil to keep it light and airy. It's one of the simplest ways to grow stronger, healthier roots that can handle anything.
The second mistake is exposing your cutting to direct sunlight. I know how exciting it is to watch it grow, but harsh light dehydrates delicate tissues faster than they can absorb moisture. It's like putting a newborn seedling under a magnifying glass. The leaves may start curling or turning pale, and before long, the entire cutting collapses. Always keep your propagations in bright, indirect light, gentle, consistent, and steady. And the third mistake, one most people don't even think about, is reusing dirty scissors or tools. Every time you take a cutting, you're creating an open wound on the plant. If your tools aren't clean, bacteria and fungi hitch a ride straight into the stem. Within a few days, you'll see black spots or fuzzy mold spreading from the cut area. That's infection, and it's one of the quickest ways to lose your propagation. Always wipe your blades with alcohol or hydrogen peroxide before each use. It takes seconds, but saves you weeks of wasted effort. So, how many of these have you made? Be honest, I've made them all at some point. The key is learning from them and being a little more careful next time. Once you stop repeating these mistakes, you'll notice your success rate shoot up almost overnight. You've seen the steps, but now let me show you what happens when you put this hack into action. I tested it on 12 different plants: pothos, monstera, rose, rubber plant, lavender, basil, even snake plant. Every single one rooted successfully within 7 to 14 days. That's right, 12 out of 12. You'll start noticing tiny roots forming first, then longer white strands reaching toward the damp paper towel. After that, small leaves begin to unfold, showing that the plant is finally self-sustaining. Watching this process is one of the most satisfying parts of gardening. It's a reminder that with a little patience and the right technique, nature always responds. This hack doesn't rely on expensive products or rare materials. It's simple biology, humidity, hormones, and care. Once you understand that balance, you can duplicate success again and again. And the best part? It works for beginners, for houseplant lovers, and even for those who've failed many times before. Propagation becomes predictable, and the results are visible proof that it really works. Now that you've mastered the basic method, let's make it even better. If you live in a dry or air-conditioned environment, add a few drops of water inside the bag every 3 days to maintain humidity. Just a few drops, not a puddle. If you're in a warm or tropical climate, open the bag for 10 to 15 minutes daily to release trapped heat and prevent mold. For thicker stems like fiddle leaf figs or rubber plants, try scraping a small section of the bark before dipping it into aloe vera. This exposes the inner layer, helping hormones reach deeper and trigger faster root growth.
If you're propagating succulents, reduce moisture and skip the paper towel. Let the cut end callus over for 2 days, then place it on slightly damp soil under indirect light. And here's a final golden rule: never rush your plants. Some species root fast, others take their time. Be patient, keep conditions steady, and you'll always get results. If you'd like me to test this method on succulents or woody herbs next, type succulent test in the comments below. I'll pick one suggestion for the next experiment. Let's quickly recap everything we've covered so you can start right away. Step 1. Choose a healthy mother plant and prepare a clean cutting with 2 or 3 nodes. Step 2. Create the perfect environment with warmth, humidity, and soft light. Step 3. Dip your cutting in aloe vera, wrap it in a damp towel, seal it in a Ziploc bag, and place it near indirect light. Step 4. Check daily. Allow small amounts of air and watch for early root bumps. Step 5. Once roots form, transplant gently into loose, well-draining soil with perlite. Avoid overwatering, direct sunlight, and dirty tools. Those are the 3 silent killers of propagation. Follow these steps, and you'll never look at plant cuttings the same way again. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up. It tells YouTube that more plant lovers should see it. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and join our growing community of home gardeners learning how to turn one plant into many. And don't leave just yet. The next video will blow your mind. I'll show you how to root a single leaf without a stem, and yes, it actually works. Click the video on your screen now and keep growing with me. Until next time, take care of your plants, and they'll take care of you.